According to research at the Imperial College London, 57% of full-term babies survived after hypothermia-induced treatment. You're watching The Right Stuff Extra with me, Gabby Logan. Still to come, child behaviour expert Loreen Murrell will be here with her parenting clinic. Are you having a tough time with your pubescent teens? Do they hide away in their rooms, answer back, only communicate with grunts and groans? Whatever the issue, Loreen is the person to give you some expert advice. She's amazing, so get in touch now. 0207 173 5555 is the number to call. But now, Rachel Claxton had a very normal pregnancy. Baby Ella popped out in just 2 pushes, but she didn't get to hold her newborn. She was whisked away seriously ill, and it was only thanks to a new treatment which effectively gives the baby hypothermia that her life was saved. Rachel joins me now with baby Ella. Welcome to the show. Hi. She's having a nice calm moment there.
Yeah,
Ella.
she's calming down.
She's semi-happy about being here, so we'll bat on and hopefully she'll enjoy Mum telling her story. You had a normal pregnancy, as I said there. And
yeah.
When did you know that there were complications?
I didn't until the last minute. We were fine in labour. We were fine during birth. Everything was absolutely fine. All the heartbeat was measuring fine. And then when she come out and put her on my belly, they whisked her off me. And
they knew straight away?
They seen that she was all floppy, and I just seen blood coming from her nostrils, and that was it. Gone.
And the reason that was happening?
They said my placenta abrupted and it caused her to die. She bled to death at birth. But obviously for 45 minutes I knew nothing. I didn't know nothing had happened. I'd just seen them working on her, resuscitating her in the corner.
So they took her away. You'd already had a child, but you'd had quite a big gap,
yeah, it was 12 years. So it felt like
it was almost like a new mum situation. So at this point you have no idea what's wrong with her.
Didn't know what was going on. I thought the worst, because after 20 minutes or so, they're not going to work on the baby no more. I just think, oh, she's dead. What have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? The doctors couldn't tell me anything. The midwife was crying. It was just such an emotional room. And then all I heard were the words, "We've got her." And that was 45 minutes later. They got her at 25 minutes. And she was alive.
25 minutes, she wasn't breathing?
No. Clinically dead for 25 minutes.
Incredible. And then when did they tell you that she was going to need further, potentially life-threatening treatment?
We didn't know anything for a couple of hours. I just saw everything. How can you not see us? I didn't know anything. She got took downstairs into the special care baby unit, and I was upstairs having my dinner, having a shower, just thinking she's alive, she's well, she's fine. We went down about 3 hours later to find her just in this cot, all wires galore, everything. Oh, it was horrible. And all we heard was she's been transferred for cooling treatment. I didn't have a clue what it was. Nothing.
You now know way more than you ever anticipated knowing about cooling treatment. It is revolutionary. I'd heard of cooling caps before. I'd never heard of the treatment that
Ella had. Because Ella had died for 25 minutes, all of her organs had failed. So basically they cooled her whole body down for the 72 hours, which gave her whole body chance to repair, so her liver, her kidneys and everything, whereas the cooling caps just clarify on the brain for the brain injuries.
So her temperature was taken down to about 33 degrees?
33.5.
From a norm of about 37.5.
Yeah.
And so she was very cold.
Eskimo.
Yeah, and you normally expect a newborn baby to be warm and
be able to cuddle them.
You couldn't
do
her.
nothing. 5 days before I got my first cuddle.
And what was going through your head at this point in those days?
She was critical at all the time. Even the warming up procedure, they can only warm your body up 0.5 degrees per hour, and that night it was just, we could have lost her at any time. She was critical, and so until we got her back to Peterborough and knew she was here with us, you just couldn't calm down. You just didn't
Without the treatment, would she have most certainly been damaged in some way in her
I believe
brain?
so. I believe that the treatment has made her the little beautiful girl that she is today. We've not got any signs of brain damage.
She's developing normally.
She started crawling. She's doing everything that the doctors didn't think she did. When we come back to Peterborough, we had the doctors crying in Peterborough because they didn't expect to see her again. She was that critically ill.
And she was in Addenbrooke's hospital, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was in the Rosie Hospital at Addenbrooke's.
How many hospitals have these facilities, and how quickly has the baby got to get there?
The baby's got to be cooled within the 6 hours, because brain injuries occur not straight away when they're brain starved, but later on. So it's got to be done within 6 hours. They're only in the neonatal intensive units because it's all the training and everything and all the rest of the procedures that go along with it. You can't just cool a baby down. There's risks to that as well.
And in itself, it's a new treatment, isn't it? It's not been practiced for years and years.
No, so there's still lots of research going into it and everything. That's what we're raising money for and everything. So
that more units can have the equipment.
Yeah, as well as that, there's the ambulance as well. The transfer, if she'd have had it in the ambulance, it could have been even better. I know we've got a brilliant result, but some babies don't. Some
well, we
people
saw
don't
the statistic, 57%. There's still some way to go so that all babies have that opportunity.
Yeah. So if it was, even if there was like, they were taught how to cool the baby down in each hospital, ready for transfer to an intensive care unit where they've got the special treatment and all the rest of them, and then in the ambulance have the unit, which they try to do. And I know our ambulance that we used has now got one in their unit, so...
And has it,
brilliant.
do you think, changed your relationship with Ella? I mean, I imagine you're incredibly protective of her.
I'm very, very protective. The first spot, the first anything, first bit of temperature, I'm just so protective, so protective. We went through a lot to keep her. 5 days of intensive care, and it was just, look, I'm getting all emotional.
I don't wonder.
No, she's...
You must have shed some tears in those 5 days.
There's some of the photos you see, we've got smiles on our face, but it hid some emotions. It really did hide some emotions.
We've got Dr. Topin on the line now, who's Ella's consultant, who's a neonatologist. I've got it out there. Thank you very much for calling us.
Good morning.
Good morning. This treatment, it's revolutionary, isn't it? And it's going to save many lives. It's going to save a lot of children from becoming severely brain damaged.
Yes, I mean, the idea of cooling a baby was sort of heretical. We were always told to keep babies warm and not get them cold. But babies like Ella, who are starved of oxygen just after birth, we now know that if you cool them down just by a few degrees for 72 hours, a significant number of them can prevent permanent brain injury.
And there is a kind of history of this, I understand, and it was tried out in the 50s in terms of putting babies in freezing water and things like that.
That's right. There was a Swedish doctor who did some sort of early studies and had very good results. But it also came at the time when a lot of premature babies were being born, and other studies were showing that if premature babies are cold, they don't do so well, and the whole sort of culture then came along that babies who haven't been starved of oxygen should be kept warm, and I think that's absolutely right. And it was only really in the 1980s where researchers based at University College in London, who were looking at what happens to the brain when it's starved of oxygen, found that actually if you cool them, you can prevent this injury. So cooling came back in fashion, if you like.
And so presumably the science and the research can also help people who aren't babies. I mean, if you get brain damage later on in life, does it work?
Well, that's interesting. There have been trials looking both in children and also adults following cardiac arrest, and the results haven't been as convincing as they have in the newborn. I think there are various reasons for that. Well, one of them, the mechanism of damage to the baby's brain is actually different to the adults. Babies aren't sort of miniature adults. They're sort of different sort of species almost, and the way the baby's brain responds to a lack of oxygen, responds to cooling, seems to be different. So it seems very effective in babies, but the jury's still out, I think, for the adults.
Okay, well, thank you very much for talking to us, and Ella, proof that the science is incredible and the research is bearing fruit. We've got a call, Kirsty, haven't we? Who's it from?
It's from Heidi, whose daughter also had the cooling treatment, and she's on line 1.
Hello, Heidi. Thank you for calling us. Tell us about your experiences.
Ashley herself, she was called at birth because she was overdue. She was 11 pound 4. And I believe because of her weight, she took a long time to be delivered and was starved of the oxygen. She was transferred to another hospital at 5 hours of age to be cooled, and thank God for the treatment, because I don't know where we would be now without it.
And how long was she kept cool for?
72 hours.
72 hours?
Yeah.
Wow, so you're also in that same boat as Rachel, just so appreciative of this science, and amazing. Thank you very much, Heidi, for calling us and telling us about your experiences, and thank you, Ella, for being so quiet, so lovely. She's bored of my voice, that's what it is.
You sent her to sleep.
Sent her to sleep.
She's fed up with hearing the story.
Rachel, thank you.
No worries.
It's a wonderful story, and thank you for bringing her in. Now, if you've been affected by anything we've been talking about and you want some help, we've got more details of some helplines and advice on our website, www.channel5.com/Right Stuff Extra. After the break, child